What is going on, boys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to put the brand new Mini 5 Pro up against the previous model, the Mini 4 Pro. I'm going to go into all the differences, what separates these two drones. So if you have the Mini 4 Pro and you're wondering if you should upgrade to the Mini 5 Pro, or you don't have any of these and you're considering getting one or the other, I'm here to help you out with that decision. Alright, so let's start on the outside and work our way in. So the first thing you're going to notice is that they went with a much darker color on the Mini 5 Pro. It has a little sexier look in my opinion, kind of similar to the Mavic 4 Pro. It's not really as dark. Now secondly, these two drones are very similar in size. However, the Mini 5 Pro does come off a little bit bigger than the Mini 4 Pro. Now on top of that, there are some quality of life upgrades here as well. So on the Mini 4 Pro, as you can see, these propellers here, they are fastened with screws. You actually have to screw them off. With the Mini 5 Pro, on the other hand, it has the same mechanic as the Mavic series, where you just press down and twist and the propellers will come off. Something else you will also notice on the outside of the Mini 5 Pro is that it has two new LiDAR sensors in front of this drone. This is something that the Mini 4 Pro doesn't have. This will help you out a ton in low light scenarios with the obstacle avoidance. It's going to be much more reliable. Now on top of that, there are some other features they introduced that they brought over from the brand new Mavic 4 Pro, and the first thing is that when you fold out the top right leg on the Mini 5 Pro, the drone actually turns on by itself. But there's actually two ways you can turn on this drone. So if we have the arms folded out like this and we plug in our battery, the drone will also turn on by itself. Now something else that is a major upgrade in my opinion that they brought over from the Mavic 4 Pro as well is a feature where you now can rotate the gimbal. I've gotten so many cool shots with it, so the more I've used it, the more I kind of fallen in love with it. So from my perspective, I don't think it is a gimmick at all. So lastly, for the ergonomics, we have the weight. Now the Mini 5 Pro is supposed to be 250 grams. That way you stick to the lowest restrictions and regulations when you fly this drone. Now when I weighed my Mini 5 Pro, it came in at 253 grams. Apparently some of the Mini 5 Pro drones can be under 250 grams depending on the manufacturer components. So to put it in other words, as I understand it, it's basically like winning the lottery. The Mini 4 Pro, on the other hand, does come under 250 grams. Alright, so touching a little bit on the controllers. So when you buy the Creator Combo, you do get the same RC2 that you have on the Mini 4 Pros. On the Mavic 4 Pro, you get a beast of a controller, the RC Pro 2. And the reason I mention this is because this controller is actually compatible with both the Mini 4 Pro and the Mini 5 Pro. With that said, you cannot buy the Mini 5 Pro and get the RC Pro 2 with it. You have to buy this separately. Now something else, if you buy the Creator Combo on the Mini 5 Pro, you will also get ND filters, which is really nice that they did include. Now lastly, with the Creator Combo, you also get a very similar battery hub. It also has a little darker color. When you charge your batteries with the Mini 5 Pro hub, it will charge all the batteries simultaneously. But on the Mini 4 Pro, it will only charge one battery at a time. Alright, so let's talk about the biggest upgrade you will get if you go from the Mini 4 Pro to the Mini 5 Pro, which is going to be the sensor. With the new Mini 5 Pro, you will get a much bigger 1-inch sensor over the Mini 4 Pro's 1/1.3-inch sensor. So why is a bigger sensor such a big deal? Well, a bigger sensor means it has better image quality, it has better dynamic range, it has better low light performance. It's just overall better quality. The bigger the sensor, the better the quality. Alright, so another major upgrade. With the Mini 5 Pro, you will get 42 gigabytes of internal storage. This is something that you don't have on the Mini 4 Pro. In terms of megapixels, you get 50 megapixels versus 48 megapixels on the Mini 4 Pro. They both come with a 24mm focal length, but the Mini 5 Pro has up to 14 stops of dynamic range versus the Mini 4 Pro's 12 stops of dynamic range. Now on top of that, with the Mini 5 Pro, you can now go up to 48mm. Now, just to mention, this is not the same as having a different lens like you have on the Mavic 4 Pro and the Mavic 3 Pro. It's still the same 24mm lens, but they have optimized it so that you won't lose out that much on quality when you use that 48mm. Now, you can also go up to 48mm on the Mini 4 Pro. However, that is more of a digital zoom. It's kind of like cropping in, so you will lose much more detail and quality in general when you use that. Alright, so let's dive into some more specs. So both of these drones can shoot 4K all the way up to 60 frames per second. Now they did bump up the slow motions capabilities on the Mini 5 Pro. Now on the Mini 4 Pro you can shoot 4K 100 frames per second, and you can also shoot 200 frames per second at 1080p. On the Mini 5 Pro on the other hand, you can shoot 4K 120 frames per second, and you can shoot 1080p 240 frames per second. Now there are some other upgrades, like the battery life is supposed to be a couple of minutes better, so you have 34 minutes versus 36 minutes. Now some other minor upgrades: the Mini 5 Pro is supposedly faster than the Mini 4 Pro, and it also is supposed to be a little bit better in windy conditions. Alright, so let's touch on the ActiveTrack. So as I mentioned at the start of this video, the Mini 5 Pro does come with 2 new LiDAR sensors in front, which means that the ActiveTrack is going to be much more reliable than on the Mini 4 Pro. I did a full ActiveTrack test with the Mini 5 Pro. I actually crashed it twice if you want to check that video out after this one. If there's one thing that I took away from that video was that when tracking from behind, the drone was extremely reliable, and that is because of these 2 new LiDAR sensors in front. Now something else with the ActiveTrack, they introduced a couple of new things where you can choose to track people who are bicycling or skiing to help out the drone understand what it's tracking to make it more reliable for those situations. Now something else you also get on the Mini 5 Pro is something called dynamic home point. So if you move around while you're out flying and you return to home, the drone will return to where you're standing with the controller. Alright, so I think I covered all the differences. So this leaves us with the question of the day: is it worth upgrading from the Mini 4 Pro to the Mini 5 Pro? The short answer is yes. And the reason I think it's worth upgrading, it comes really down to 4 things. First and foremost, the bigger sensor. I would say that is probably the biggest pro on this drone and the biggest reason you should get it. Next to that, we have the rotating gimbal. As I said, I love the rotating gimbal. I think it's such an awesome thing to have. And the third thing is the fact that you can go up to 48mm and still preserve so much quality. I think that is also a major reason to upgrade to this drone. And lastly, I think it's worth it because of the 42GB of internal storage on top of that. Those are kind of the 4 biggest things, as I see them, that makes it worth the upgrade. Now, if you don't have any of these drones and you're looking into getting one or the other, the last time I checked the creator combo for both of these drones, they were quite similar in price, at least here in Norway. Now, on top of that, you also get ND filters, as I said, included in the creator combo on the Mini 5 Pro. And this is something that you probably need to buy separately if you decide to get the Mini 4 Pro. Alright, so that is my conclusion. Now feel free to drop a comment below what you think of these 2 drones, or if I missed something. And if you want more Mini 5 Pro content or drone content in general, feel free to smash that like and subscribe button before you head off. That would also be highly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Fly safe.